Just
Yeah,
talk.
just talk. Just an actual conversation, not
Say,
an
hey,
interview.
oh, how was your day?
Yeah,
All right, so we're on.
yeah,
You ready, my
yeah,
man?
yeah, I'm
All
ready.
right. All right. So with us today, we have Joel Nuñez, a small business owner that lives right now in Miami, Florida. He's a bartender trainer in the Yard House located in Miami Beach, Florida. He has worked in the food industry for the past 7 years. In 2013, he has a bachelor's in hospitality management and an associate's in culinary arts. Joel is an experienced MMA athlete trained in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu at the Fighting Academy in Dominican Republic, and he is now practicing yoga. How is the Miami life, my man?
It's about the same as everybody's life right now. But
so, so
I
you're
mean,
not partying?
it's no. I personally decided I think I was going to be done with the party. Just me personally.
Just you.
And
Everybody else is still partying.
well, that's how I felt for the first few days when this all started. People didn't really listen, so I saw it. Like it was just like people didn't want to stay home. People try to get them going out. Even if you went to a supermarket, people would be like, "Hey, where's the party?" And it's like nowhere. Stay home.
But are they still partying right now, though, you think?
No, well, I mean, can you really stop them from trying to party in their houses and stuff? There's only certain limits to that.
Yeah,
There
yeah.
is a lot of that happening because at any moment you call over a few friends here in Miami and it's a party. So
So,
I
I mean,
imagine
I'm laughing, and I don't mean to
yeah,
be. It's just,
people don't
it is
listen.
what it. Yeah,
Yeah.
people don't listen.
Like around my area, it's looked like they've listened very well. Actually, you go out at any time after 6 p.m. and it feels like you're going out at 3 in the morning. Nothing happening. Everything's quiet. But it's been kind of scary sometimes seeing these streets that are usually so vibrant and active be so quiet.
I mean, think about that. Where was it? That pastor that I'm trying to look that up right now. That pastor that held a service this past weekend.
Oh, that they had to. I just actually received
Was
some
that in Arkansas?
information. I'm not sure, but I know I just received some information from the local city. Yeah, they just started to. They specified that. I don't. I was. I didn't know why, but they specified. Um,
Yeah, yeah. It's sad that all those people got sick off of that stuff, man. Not all of them, but the majority of them that met up at the congregation during the weekend. There was another one also in Washington where choir practiced. They went to practice choir, and 60 people showed up. 45 people out of the 65 now have coronavirus.
but
Come on, like
fine, people. It was the limit's 10 at most, and
at most.
I should say 8, 4,
Exactly.
2. Stay home, But it's truly it's obvious if you're 65 people, what do you think is going to happen? Especially with
It's
how everything's going on right now.
it's that multiplying effect, right? Which is like people they keep telling us like, hey, this is real. This is real. Nobody's taking it seriously. Think about the other in Liberty University. Have you heard that one?
I haven't heard of the Liberty
So
University.
Obviously schools are pre-K to 12. They all closed. Universities have also followed. Liberty University, they basically say, hey, come on, we're still going to continue going.
Oh,
Now, 3 other students have tested positive.
so
So
that's
again, it's
gonna
just
it's
yeah,
gonna yeah. Immediately that's gonna blow up because 3 tested, God knows how many didn't. And then the ones that are acting like they didn't have anything, it's gonna pass on to the next. It's the same story that happens everywhere and it's been popping up. People really have to stay home. This is not anything else but a stay home quarantine type of life. I don't know, Trump avoided it all he could to say the word quarantine.
yeah.
It's a stay home, it's a this, it's a that. It's a quarantine. It's all stay home. It's if you gotta go outside to eat because you need food because you have no food in your house, I understand. But if it's not for that,
Yeah.
why?
But you heard how old are you right now? I'm 40. I'm about to be 40 soon. How old are
Oof,
you right now?
25.
Wait, hold up a
I'm
second.
oof, about to be 40 soon.
Hey man, it's like wine. The older the wine is, the more vintage.
But that bottle has been open for a long time, man. It's not like you've been aging that bottle, bro.
Wait, what is it? I'm a decanter. I'm a decanter.
Yeah, man. You spin on. I think mine's a sake. Yeah, yeah. It's just,
I'm a decanter.
uh,
That's funny.
but no,
But
truly, it's been all businesses. South Beach as itself. I like to look at a lot of macro when it comes to my industry. I like
yeah.
to see the big effects, the small effects, what's going on. Um, not just in one restaurant that I'm working in, but what's the whole city saying? What are the people saying about the area? What's happening? Um, from what's happening with rent to what's happening with just businesses in general. I'm located very close to Lincoln Road, and a lot of things
Hmm.
that's been happening to Lincoln Road is that it's been even before all of this, a lot of restaurants have been shutting down, switching over to a lot of retail. It's just that prices is just not affordable. And this South Beach has been kind of slowing down as it is. Kind of what happens with people like in New York, the locals in New York don't go to Times Square. The locals in Miami don't go to South Beach. It's
All right. So talk to me about that because that's an interesting point. I've been to Miami Beach. I mean, as a tourist, I'm going to Miami Beach. I want to enjoy
yeah, yeah,
the sunset, the beach. So
yeah.
you that live on Miami Beach,
Don't
where do
want to
you
be. I personally,
you don't want to go?
well, there's plenty of places to go anywhere. The South Beach is considered anything from about 15th Street down, being the entertainment district is what it's considered. Um, that area is what I consider the tourist trap, be it Ocean Drive, be it anything down to, as I said, from 15th down to First is that area of South Beach. Anything above that, there's certain hotels, and then there's Mid Beach, which is just it's a whole bunch of beaches available for anybody to go to. That area in Ocean is where all the tourist traps are. It's where you end up paying $30 for a drink, tipping, and then they slide in saying that you didn't tip, so you end up tipping extra. I think
$60 by the time you end.
yeah, yeah. Pretty much you paid $45 for a margarita, a watered down margarita.
Um, yeah.
Yeah. So, but no, a lot of it's been dying out because of that. I've been always taught that your locals pay your bills, your one-offs are your profit. But if you don't got locals, if you don't got those regulars coming in, you don't produce enough flow. You're at the mercy of everything when it comes to now like this. No traveling or nothing you're done. There's nobody coming to your restaurant. You're not at least if you have locals, there's gonna be people ordering takeout from your business. You don't have that because you're just dependent purely on people that travel down here to
Yeah.
be in that area.
Now you're in the restaurant business, obviously, right? So the
Yes.
restaurant, I did some research. The restaurant business generates more than $50 billion, which 12% of that is only for the state of Florida. And you work right now at the Yard House, which is owned by Darden Restaurants, and Darden Restaurant alone reported a total sales of $2.35 billion last fiscal year, which is 4.5% increase from Q3 of 2020 to
Oh yeah,
now. So
Darden.
yeah, Darden is a huge. Darden
Over
owns.
180 employees. We're talking about a massive, massive conglomerate. It's like from Olive Garden to Yard House to Longhorn Steakhouse to have a few
Capital
fine,
Grill,
yeah, the
Eddie
fine
V,
dining,
Prime
Eddie
Seafood,
V's, yeah, Prime Seafood,
Bahama Breeze. Bahama Breeze is pretty good.
Bahama
And
Breeze, yeah.
I was also interested. So the New York Stock Exchange, Darden is
Mm-hmm,
also on there as well.
mm-hmm.
They trade as
Oh,
DRI.
yeah,
They are in 28 different states, 83 different locations,
yeah,
25 in California, 8 in Florida, and you're working right now on the Lennox Avenue. So obviously
yeah.
you're talking about how this is severely impacted. It's a trickle effect, right? Because if it's impacting you
It's
and your restaurants, it's going to be impacting the rest of the community as well.
yeah, it's a stock, and then being publicly traded stock. Because when you get to a point where you're affecting everybody, you're not just affecting us workers, you're affecting the stockholders, you're affecting the whole society that we live in.
Yeah.
And that's what we're looking at in the big picture. Those restaurants right now, I'm grateful for being part of Darden. They're
Why is that?
actually paying us a piece of how much we're making as servers, as bartenders, as any position that you're in, even though they are pretty much fully shut down, operating just on takeout and to go. Um,
So what does
Sorry.
that look like right now? What does that look like if they're still paying you? They're paying you 100% or
No,
75%?
so what they've chosen to do is actually they've capped us off at $20 an hour
Yeah.
and also capped us off at 40 hours a week. Um, so, but it's 50%. So technically, what they're paying us is about $10 an hour, 40 hours a week,
Okay.
which we can say, oh, it's nothing compared to what a server makes, or we can say it's $400 more than what every server is making right now, because all the restaurants are shutting down and they're being laid off or fired. And a lot of these restaurants, as I was talking about, how the decline of South Beach has really naturally been happening, a lot of these restaurants aren't going to open up again. You're going to see a lot of restaurants that were living paycheck to paycheck and might have to shut down those doors forever. As opposed to my company that I know that they're strong enough and smart enough that, pushing through this, they might be one of the only restaurants open. The business is going to be easy for them. It's going to be good for them, but it's going to be really tough on the city. Long run, hopefully we rebuild, we become something new, fresh. Maybe that's something Miami Beach needed to start up again, but it's just not viewed. A lot of things like Williamsburg, Brickell are the new areas that are becoming vibrant, alive. A lot more people are living in these areas. People are moving off South Beach, from ecological reasons. I mean, I flood every night here out in the streets, but so it's simply just that this is just not the same. So this coronavirus is not just. I personally have been staying home safe and health, but I've also been focusing a lot on seeing what it's going to look like when things do turn around.
That's exactly where I wanted to go next. So what are you thinking this is going to be? Because you were 7 years in the industry. You've seen your ups and downs, right? You worked not just in Miami, you worked in New York City. Uh, when you compare the New York City vibe with the Miami vibe, the culinary in New York and the culinary in
Yeah.
Miami, and
I mean,
this,
with New York, there's no doubt with the bounce back. There's no doubt. That's something that you can rest easy knowing that at the end of the day, when New York turns around, they're going to turn around and be stronger than they ever will. Ever been. As per Miami, I see it, but the grind isn't the same. People don't have that same urge because I don't feel like a lot of people call Miami home and stay as close to Miami. A lot of people that have businesses out here in Miami aren't from here or don't plan to focus themselves here. If you open up a business in New York, you can't really focus yourself anywhere else. You know what I mean?
you got to
It's
be
something
there.
that, yeah, it's New York is going to consume you, and that's what you got to do and focus to make it there. Miami is a lot of international, a lot of people that open businesses here and move on. A lot of chains, a lot of stuff like that that are not as, I don't think, have that same need, the same strive. So when this comes, it's going to change the way people act. I hope a lot of people bounce back stronger. I have been seeing a lot of companies trying to help the society out here when it comes to the restaurant industry. From the South Beach Food and Wine Festival that they host here every year, they're trying to go out there and help out those that are being affected by the situation that we're living in right now. So
Like a food pantry per se.
they're doing food pantries. They're doing simple like donations, random donations, people that need. Um, I know there's a few companies that I myself have signed up that you receive grants, $500 grants, randomly picked for those who need it. And it's something that the society is going to, the community to stay together and hopefully when it turns around, we come back strong. As I said, a lot of big events were affected. March is the biggest month when it comes to music, festivals, and things like that in Miami, which is huge. And, spring break and all that. This is pretty much the peak, what should have been the peak of Miami's year, turning into about the quietest Miami month that I've ever seen, probably
Yeah.
anybody's ever seen, obviously. But yeah, that's what's happening right now here.
Now, have you personally ever faced anything like this before in your life? As far as obviously, we're all in quarantine. 3.3 million people are out of work. Businesses are being affected. Businesses are shutting down. And I know you are a small business owner.
Yeah. Well, there's a few things going on that I guess I can say that I'm a blessing in disguise.
Mhm.
A few years ago, I was in a car accident that did leave me. injured and staying at home for about 4 months out of work and everything. I had a torn herniated disc in my lower back. Uh, Obviously, working in this industry, I couldn't be at work. And that was about 4 months, 3.5, 4 months of me being in home, freezing cold outside. So I couldn't even walk outside. It was too dangerous, slip and falls, things like that. And just being in my mind for 4 months, which is real tough. And I think that's one of the hardest things happening right now is you shut yourself in and we're quarantined, but we don't know how to handle it. A lot of us that are social beings that all we do is hang out with people, but also just those that are active people. A lot of people that depend on sports, as myself. I was a athlete before that, as I said, as you said before, MMA, Brazilian Jiu Jitsu was my big thing. So right before the accident, I was actually just getting into my MMA career, just had my first amateur bout, was training back in New York, coming back from the Dominican Republic. And then that's where I was pulled out of that, high moment in my life, that moment that I felt so strong and so mighty was ripped away from me so quickly that not having a plan, not having things like that, and then all of a sudden you're dead in the waters. As you said here, we are just like that, dead in the waters, caught by something that we couldn't have planned for, that we were not ready for. But in a way, I do have a bit of a plan because I do have savings, I do have things that will help me through moments like this. And I think those are very important for everybody. And now that I'm here in my house, again, reading books is kind of a big thing for people. I am not a great reader, but I try my best to focus on things like that. When I had my first 4 months, I read my first probably 3 books in my life.
What were
So
those?
uh,
I'm sure you
I
read some. I'm sure you read something else before
yeah,
that
no,
too.
no, I had plenty of books that I read, but not the same as an adult reading with intention.
Like you taking the time saying, you know what, fuck it. Let me just take the time to
Exactly.
buy. Let me take the time to read these books
Exactly. This
instead of
is a
having
book
some
I want.
teachers.
Exactly. Tell me,
Yeah,
or
yeah, yeah.
just yeah, pretty much. So, I read most of Brave New World. I had read it before. I read it again during that
What was
time.
it called?
A Brave New World by
A
Aldous
Braving
Huxley.
World.
A
Okay.
Brave New World. A book called Water, 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 which right now I don't remember exactly what the name of the author was. And the other one was just I was just reading up on cryptocurrency at the moment. So I was just studying up on that.
So
Uh,
so water, water, water. What the heck was that about?
Water, Water, Water was an interesting one. That was part of my 4 months of me not knowing what to do. I decided to do a water cleanse. I ended up in a water documentary talking about our need of water and our understanding of water in our body and how we use it and how we don't, our consumption, the 8 glasses of water idea and all that.
Nancy
Um,
Wallace. Does that ring a bell? Nancy Wallace. So I looked it up. Water with an exclamation. Oh, never mind. No, Water, Water, Water by Nancy Wallace is not. I don't think that's it. It's a children's children's book.
and that, and
Or Water is Water. I have Into the Water, Water, a comprehensive guide for brewers. That can't be it.
well,
But go ahead. Sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. So it's a book on water that focuses on
just it really focuses
cleansing.
on understanding what the effects of dehydration are and how to identify dehydration properly because a lot of times we get caught up thinking that thirst is just our first sign of you know, oh, if I'm thirsty, I need water. And
Mm-hmm.
it's not necessarily that. There's a lot of other signs. Being lack of patience is a quick one, and that's just because our body is focusing on keeping water where it needs, and where we come to a problem instead of being patient and trying to figure it out. Anger and unleashing is a quicker solution. So we react like that, and we're allowed to move along. But that's because we have lack of patience, a lack of focus. You know,
Mm-hmm.
another big thing there is talks about how coughs, how diabetes, how even allergies and asthma can be part of dehydration. Asthma was my favorite one to talk about because it just kind of made sense. When our and our body is dehydrated, it tries to produce um, anything to kind of substitute that. and it's histamines is where it starts producing, and that's what ends up drying your lungs so much. And that's why the asthma pumping and antihistamine is something necessary. He talks about a case
Hmm.
that he dealt with somebody that had a recent case of asthma, something that had just occurred, and the way they treated it was just by every morning they put a dash of salt on your tongue, sea salt, and a
Hmm.
glass of water. Because again, the balance of water is salt in the body, um, creating dehydration, hydration. But
Hmm.
fun part, another thing is the coffee and tea. People thinking that tea, especially, they say, "Oh, I drink tea. It's part of our healthy body. It's cool. It's good." But it dehydrates you, and you're not really noticing. So when you start playing a game of I drink 8 cups of water, but you drink 1 cup of coffee, 1 cup of tea,
It doesn't
and
balance
one
out.
glass of wine, you end up subtracting 3 cups to. It doesn't really work out. You maybe I don't know exactly, if it's 1 to 1 or what, but tea is a diuretic, coffee is a diuretic. If you're consuming sugars, that's also the same thing. It ends up drying you. You just need to make sure that you're consuming enough water, and then you add to that you're an athlete. You're running 5, 6 miles a day. You're not consuming enough water, and you're not even noticing. Just because you're like, oh, all I need is a liter, all I need is 2 liters of water, whatever it
Hmm.
is, and you get caught up like that. But
Hmm.
since then, I did about a 7-day water cleanse during that activity, and that was probably the most interesting thing I've done ever in my life to my body. Uh,
So the book talks about the cleansing as well.
They talk about cleansings. They talk about how things like that help. But the documentary I was watching on Amazon Prime, I could probably get you that information. You can probably give them links to those type of things after. They talked about how water cleanses were treated medically, obviously, for we can survive up to 40 days. That's what it's called. It's up to 40 days that we can survive.
And
And
just pure
that's
water.
just on pure water, safely.
Now, I want to hear more about that. Now, in a couple of days, I'm going to be interviewing, like I told you before we started talking about here.
Hmm.
His name he's an author, musician, comedian, ultra marathon runner, and he was also an alcoholic and a drug addict. And he was stuck on an island. So he has this fucking fascinating story that he was stuck on an island. He just went out to sea to go fishing with somebody, and all of a sudden, here comes I think it was like the weather was not acting
Right?
correctly, I guess. So boom, now his whole boat is just shattered. He goes on an island. He'll talk about it more on the upcoming episodes. But he survived on what he could find at that time was urine and then water. So the fact that you're bringing up that you could survive on for 40 days is that what he said?
It was tested across a lot of animals too, and
Okay,
the reoccurring number was about 40.
that's
Even penguin, it was crazy because even a penguin would last the same amount as a human, which is kind of just how your body now. It just
yo
seems
pink.
to be this.
Sorry, go
Yeah,
ahead. No, go
yeah.
ahead, go
It
ahead, go
just
ahead.
seems to be that number that reoccurs, and yeah, I mean, if you're a regular human, not too big, not too heavy, not too skinny, not too whatever, about 40 days just on obviously consuming water properly is what, and it reverts a lot of things in your body because again, your organs are muscles. They've been working constantly, constantly, constantly. You giving them that rest is the same thing as when your muscles, you work out, you give it that rest, they become
Yeah.
stronger, healthier, better. And that same aspect, your stomach becomes healthier, stronger, better, and your whole system, because your intestines rest, everything in your body starts to rest.
Yo,
The liver,
you're talking about the penguin. Have you ever this penguins are smart as shit, dude.
oh, their health.
There's a company I can't remember their name. I think it was called First Penguin. Uh but essentially they were asking the founder, okay, why did you call your company I think it was First Penguin. And essentially
Mm-hmm.
uh penguins, I don't, you've seen maybe have seen this when they're all going into the sea, they all
Yeah,
stop. And I don't know if you noticed, but one of them typically goes in,
gloop, yeah.
right? Right?
One
If
jumps.
if he doesn't come out, none of them go
None of them
in
go,
because
oh,
because something happens to him. So they're smart.
Johnny.
Now, if he
We're
comes
good.
back and
We
he says,
good.
"Hey, we good," then they all go in.
Then everybody starts jumping, and yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
true.
So penguins. So, anyways, this guy, I forgot. I'm looking it up right now, but I can't find it. He named his company towards that philosophy that, hey, we're gonna go in first, and we're gonna make sure that once we go in, we're gonna set everything up,
Boom,
and then
boom.
your whole team is gonna go in. So
That's
pretty interesting
yeah,
concept. So
pretty much, man.
7 days of cleansing. So you ate
I did
something
seven.
throughout.
No, 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 no. 7 days. The 7 days I did were just on water.
No carbs, no proteins.
Nothing at all. I went from regularly eating to eating nothing for 7 days. The process is, I mean, the first day, the first 24 hours, um, I had done 24-hour on water before. I used to do it just
Yep.
to let my body rest because I knew that was good for me. Back when I used to fight, when I was like 14, 15, 16. But then, so day one goes by. Usually, if you stay up late because you can't really sleep well on day one, it gets to you a bit. But after that, you wake up the next day. Day two is kind of rough, but it's not that rough either. You're just bored. Day three is where you actually hit a wall because that's where a lot of toxins start to come out. Day three, four, five, it's like you're just getting rid of a lot of stuff in your body. I started having old pains. Like I was already 2 months into my recovery,
Yep.
so I was feeling a lot better because I wasn't doing anything. Obviously, I wasn't active, so I didn't really have those like active pains. But on
Mm-hmm.
about day three, four, my back started to pain, like hurt. My knees started to hurt, which were old injuries. Um, a lot of old pain came back, and then yeah, about day four or five, it subsided. Um,
So
I,
on.
day five, day four actually is where I just started feeling fine. I woke up. That's the day I started waking up at around 6:30 a.m. naturally, and I would be able to get through my day perfectly. Like I had energy. I started feeling better, stronger. Things didn't hurt as much. Uh, I slept better, as in like I was able to just to lay down at night and just go to sleep, and clear headed, felt comfortable, felt good.
All right. So as you're talking over here, if you know me well, I already got a chart going for you. I got a chart going day 1 through 7. So let's focus. Let's go back on day one. That way, our listeners can know that
Okay.
for 7 days, you basically went on
Yeah.
a water diet, no food, no carbs, no protein.
Nope.
So this happened because you were obviously
Bored
in
out
your
of my
fight in your
mind.
bored out of your mind. But before that, you're already like
I had
in
already talked about this. I had already talked about this with other people. Way back years ago, I had a conversation with a friend of mine that he had done it. He had it done about 7 days actually. And he told me the same thing that it got to a point with him that I actually visually saw it. Toxins started coming out of his tongue. His tongue started changing colors.
because of before or after or during.
Throughout it.
Because
Things started.
it's just letting shit out of your body.
Yes, shit is just starting to come out of your body. Personally, I broke out like acne,
Yeah.
and then like the next day was gone, pretty much type stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, like my skin cleared up anywhere. Like it was impressive. I knew somebody else, which at the moment was some guy I was living with. He had done 14 days back when he was a priest.
Yeah.
He did 14 days water just like that, and he told me the same thing that he had never felt better. He lives with psoriasis now because he was extremely healthy younger, but when he got older, all that. But he told me that his psoriasis had cleared up everything. Like he got him better. His body was able to function because if you think about it, your body has to focus on things.
All
Like
right, so for our listeners, just want to make sure that neither of us are doctors.
no, not no, no, no.
We're not giving any
Not
medical.
recommend. No, no.
We're
I'm just
no
talking
medical
about
recommendation.
experiences.
He's just talking about his experiences, and
Just talking
that's what
about.
we're just having a conversation about his experiences, right?
Yeah,
Just in
it's
case somebody
just
has psoriasis and they're like, "Oh, water cleansing," and then all of a
no,
sudden,
doesn't. No. It's
no,
just stuff that you make a certain decision, you work on certain stuff. For me, I needed to do it for a lot of reasons. I wanted to see if I can just feel better. I also know that I was always dehydrated. I didn't drink enough water, so I was trying to focus on drinking the right amount of water, and I wanted to see what it was about. Obviously, put myself in risk.
Now, listen, I think this is a good opportunity right now to talk about this stuff because obviously, as of today, 880,000 people have been confirmed with this coronavirus globally, right?
Yeah,
But if we bring that number into the United States, 189,000 have been diagnosed just in the United States with the COVID-19, claiming 44,000 lives globally, but 4,000 in the United States. And it's crazy that the NYPD just today reported that 1,400 of their
cops.
boots, of the cops are also with this. But you know, when we think about this pandemic and what's causing it with people, some people right now are feeling despair. Their fear, of their loved ones, decreased job security, obviously increased loneliness. They're on survival mode. They're triggering hopelessness,
Yep.
increased anxiety, financial security, social withdrawal, and then disturbed sleep. And we could go on and on and on. Especially if you have had a job or a business or whatnot, you're closing yourself in. And I think this is kind
Yeah.
of why what you went through
Yeah.
is, you kind of had an opportunity to prepare for this in a way.
Yeah. The hardest part of it all was the mental game. The mental game because uh, in that case, the accident time, I didn't have many stresses. I was younger. I didn't have to worry about the roof above my head. I didn't have to worry about the food in the fridge. Um, Yet it was still harder than what it feels today because at that time I was fighting with my mind. And when you're depressed, when you're scared, when you're worried, when you're not sure if you're ever going to be the even same person because of something, you beat yourself up. It's strong, it's stressful. Obviously, when you have real stresses like the ones right now, it's a different ball game. But I was able to prepare with that, and now that I'm living through it, I'm able to see things in a different way. I'm able to slow down, and I'm able to plan and not worry, which is what something a lot of people get caught up in between. Between, oh, I don't want to think about it, which is the other side of it. Either you plan, you worry, or you do nothing, and then you end up in the same result with two of those. The only proper thing is to plan and able to focus and think about what you can do, what is in your reach, what can you step up to do and make your life better. Is it meditating? Is it going out there and thinking about, studying a different type of industry? Is it whatever it is to make your situation better? It's the planning part, not the worrying about it, not going, oh my God, it's happening. Oh my God, it's happening. And then never actually doing anything about it. And it's also not going, it's all right. It's going to pass.
Yeah, man, I got I got chills as you're talking about that because a couple things that you said there is that you could either do nothing at all and worry, or you could plan and focus. And I shared this on my second podcast. I was having a conversation with the guest at that time was Jerome Scaturo, and I basically said there on that episode that there was a moment in my life where, kind of like yourself, I didn't have to worry about a roof over my head. I didn't have to worry about the meals I was having, where I was going to sleep, because in the military they pretty much provided all that stuff to me and to any other military folk. But then when I got out, I had a daughter, and she was going through what I never expected was going to happen: serious medical complications. And to me, at that time, I didn't know. I thought I had it all fixed up, figured out, and in front of people, in front of my family, in front of my at that time, my ex now, obviously, and in front of my daughter, which she was just an infant, in front of everybody, I was this very, stoic. He got everything under control, but in the reality, man,
Oh, yeah.
this is something that I shared in that podcast, and right now I'm okay sharing this. I started migrating into alcohol. It was really easy. I could just go buy it, numb myself, and then wake up the next day, and then go back to the hospital and go back to work my regular life, really. But that right there, man, has some serious complications, and that kind of led me down the path of doing like what you said, plan and focus, right? So I had to basically stop worrying. I mean, I had to worry still in some way,
Obviously.
but the
Healthy.
doing. yeah, but the doing nothing got me into a very severe path that I was just like, wait, I had to stop and plan and focus, and that's kind of what got me into the ultramarathon world. Where there, to run, you still have to. I mean, you can still drink and run,
Yeah,
but but to run ultra marathons and drink, that's really tough. So I had to back up off of that shit. So I'm glad you share that. You
yeah,
know,
man. For me. It was huge mental games, man. I didn't. I looked for something by doing nothing. I went from being an extremely active athlete, watching sports, loving sports, fighting, training to fight, to not even watching shows about sports, not even
why is
following
that?
anybody on Instagram, because it was a mental block. It was hard for me. It was hard to. I felt like I wasn't going to be able to get back to it. So instead of trying to figure it out in the best way possible and embrace it, um, I was just simply going, I don't even want to see sports. I don't even want to talk about sports at all. And it wasn't on purpose. It was just me blocking things out. And it taught me that that doesn't make it better. It just made it harder and made me get further away from what I loved. And I now understand that it's not about always being exactly what you were doing, but it's about being around what you love. It's about being part of what you love and loving that.
So a lesson learned that you have is basically if you're going through all these stuff, don't let go of what you really love, but try to focus on it a little bit more.
No, whatever way, like if a lot of athletes right now, and it's a big thing for athletes because we're so used to training with people, so used to being part of a team. Um, if you're not doing that right now, just wake up every morning, do some push-ups, work out in one way, study, watch videos, do something that keeps you active. Um, I personally, right now, I'm really focusing on my rehab. I have been putting it to the side for way too long, and now I have time and nothing but it. So every morning when I do my yoga, I'm focusing on my shoulder, I'm focusing on my lower back, strengthening it so that when I come back, even if it's just bartending and then working on my small business when I get it back going, I need to be better than what I left it. I
Do
can't be
you,
the same because that's
do,
worse.
do you see yourself ever going back to jujitsu or MMA?
Yes, yes. More than most likely in either the coaching aspect over the practitioner aspect. I personally have always loved to teach, so it's not even like I'm taking a side to something what I love doing. I actually prefer teaching, so I'm going to focus on that, and hopefully I can get an opportunity someday to have some alumni and a dojo of myself of my own. But my own academy is one of my biggest dreams.
So what level of obviously martial arts? So I'm assuming
Yeah,
obviously you were
Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, I was a blue belt.
a blue belt. Okay.
Yeah, which is the second belt out of about five belts that are actually common ranking. But once you
Would
get to a
you?
purple belt, you can then have your own academy.
Okay, so you still will be able to practice and be
I
able to
mean,
attain that purple belt.
I yeah, my goal is that. I obviously have to do a lot of work on my shoulder, and hopefully at some point I can get actual physical therapy going again and actually working on getting myself back to 100. But yeah, I don't see why not.
But
I
the
don't see
MMA
why.
itself, that one is a little bit
That
trickier,
one,
just because.
that one's so tricky again. The herniated disc is a real, it's a real edgy thing because the shoulder is a muscle. You work on it. Even if I have other tears, I can always have surgery and just get it fixed. The lower back, there's no blood flow there, so it's a lot harder for the body to heal that. And having that disc bulge and it's a tear in the hernia, it's not like it's just a bulge itself. It's a tear, so there's liquid and everything going out of it. It's going to be a lot harder for that to turn back. I do research every opportunity I get on new treatment. I have seen this laser treatment that they're producing here in Miami. That's also a big part of why I'm around here. A lot of big athletic medicine going on,
Yep.
and if something does come up that I can actually work on to heal my lower back, then yeah, for sure, MMA is still something I can get myself into again, be it as a trainer or a practitioner.
So how long were you in the MMA scene? Because I know that you obviously have some experience with that, and unfortunately, because of this, how the fuck does this accident happen, anyways?
So, well, the accident itself, just to give a little quick summary of how it happened. I went back to Dominican Republic for a few months to train my striking because I was always a Brazilian Jiu Jitsu fighter, so I went back to train striking. I went for about 3 4 months, trained out there, had my first amateur fight, lost that, learned a lot from that. Gone, came back to New York, started training, uh, working, training, and then I was finally getting my license. The same day I get my license, uh, and then I'm on my way back home at a red light, and I get hit by a truck, pretty much a Ford Expedition, 2009 Ford Expedition red.
Oh,
Yeah,
uh,
I was in the 2018 RAV4. So he hits it from behind, then hits reverse, and then hits me again.
wait. So you're in a red light. You're fully stopped,
Fully stopped. There's cars on the side of me. There's cars in front of me. There's about 3 4 cars ahead of me on this side.
and you were in a what? A Toyota, you said?
Yeah, RAV4.
And a
A
Rav
RAV4.
Four, and then
Yeah.
behind here comes a Ford F-150. You said
No. Ford Expedition,
Ford
2009.
Expedition.
Full cab. Full cab.
Oh,
So
so a fucking gas guzzler, a
yeah,
tank, a
yeah.
tank.
With the bars on the front and everything. Yeah, yeah.
But he didn't hit you once, but
No,
twice.
it hits me, then hits reverse, then hits me again. We expect
Did you
that he
do
was trying
what'd you do
to
to that guy?
nothing, nothing. At the moment, my ex at the moment was my girl. She got out of the car wanting to fight him. I then got stopped her because there's no need for that. But and thank God for the patience I have because truly there was nothing I could do. That's it. It was done. As my mom says, "Ya el golpe está loud."
¿Qué tú haces?
Exactly. Yes, I can't take it back. You can't take the hit back. So, um, yeah, he ended up hitting me. He even hit the car behind him.
Was
He,
that guy drunk?
he didn't seem drunk. I think he was just.
He was trying to escape, probably.
I think he wasn't paying attention, and then panicked and tried to escape. And then
Yeah.
there was cars beside him, so couldn't get out. So then hit me again.
But the cops showed up and eventually spoke
Oh
to the
yeah,
guy
yeah,
or
for
arrested
sure.
him or whatever the fuck they
Um,
did.
they spoke to him. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think he ever got arrested. He blamed it on faulty car issues. He's saying that
Of
the car
course.
accelerated itself, but obviously you'd have to hit reverse, put the car back in drive, then accelerate again, hit me, then hit reverse,
Yeah.
and then the guy that you hit behind you pulled out, got out of his car, came into your car, and turned your car off.
That's freaking
That's when
nuts,
the car
dude.
was turned off. Yeah, that definitely, yeah, was a crazy situation. But it taught me a lot of things about myself. It taught me a lot, and I'm trying to grab whatever best I can from that because it was rough. It was hard. It wasn't just the time that I lost. It wasn't just that I was up for a promotion that I wasn't able to get. I um, was then available for another promotion in a newer location that I couldn't go to either because I was still in bed injured. Um, and plans that I was having to move down to Miami because of the sport were now then turned into still moving down to Miami to get out of the cold from New York. So it was a life changer. And
So it seems that that particular moment in your life allowed you to press reset on your life, really, right?
yeah, it
To
taught
build
me.
the mental strength, a rehab on your body, which it kind of prepared you for this right now too, right?
Yeah. No, this is definitely something that uh, I'm about to have a talent in. About to have a skill. For those who are going through this for the first time, can call me because I know what it's like. I know what it's like. Trust me, it's no joke. This mental game. At first, we're all fun and games. You know, the first week you think it's vacation. You play video games. You do this. You do that. But if you don't have a specific goal in mind and actually working towards something, the time can become infinite,
Yeah.
and it's your brain can play a lot of games on you, and it's not safe if you're not being careful and smart. And at the end of the day, even if you do nothing for the 2 weeks that it's going to happen, or 3 weeks or 4 weeks, whatever, how long it goes, do you really just want to come back out the same?
How long you think this shit's gonna last, man?
I mean, to the degree that we're currently in,
Yeah.
I don't see
Like,
it less than another month. I don't see it less.
so you see more than a month.
I mean, I can, if we do things right, if people actually listen, if people stay home, if people clean their everything they got to clean, people put on gloves, masks,
So
people do what they have to do.
let's
Best
use
case
your
scenario.
let's use your categories over here, which I love. You have bucket 1 and bucket 2. That's how I'm labeling it. Bucket 2 is the worry and do nothing,
Yeah,
and the
we do.
bucket 1 is
Yeah,
plan and focus. What
okay.
bucket
And
2?
plan and
But
focus.
yeah, whatever you want.
Plan
Bucket 1, plan and focus.
and focus. 3 weeks. 3 weeks, and we
3.
can see it. We can see a drastic turnaround in which uh, maybe we won't be opening up the restaurants,
Yeah.
but we'll be talking about opening up the restaurants
Okay.
and how we're going to go about that.
So that plan and focus is basically everybody hunker down in the U.S. 3 weeks,
3 weeks.
and then the worry and do nothing.
That's to be honest, it's what do they call that? It's trickle down. That can be as bad as it can be,
Bro,
because
I got some numbers for you on that one.
I got like December 2022.
No, seriously,
No, but December truly.
I have 18 months on that one.
Ooh.
And obviously, I mean, look,
See, no, it's true. It's true. If for that bucket, 18 months.
you
Yeah.
know, the small business I had was on risk management, right? Which right now, obviously, the doors are closed because I have no fucking customers like nobody else.
Because there's no management risks. It's just risks now. And you're just in the
now,
risk. You ain't managing it. There's no
but
planning
seriously,
it.
I think it's 18 months or more. And here's why: there's no consistency from city to city,
City.
state to state, government to state, or state to
From
government,
county to county.
county to county, business to business.
When I started noticing that, I was like, why? Because when I started hearing everything here, my girlfriend's from a different area, and I just thought everything was the same. And then she was like, no, my place is still doing this, my place is still doing that.
See,
And I'm like, but it makes no sense. It's Miami-Dade. It should be all of Miami. It should be Florida. That's it. It should be the
yeah.
statewide. It should be a statewide shutdown. Why are we waiting for it to get to the spot for us to shut it down if we know it's gonna get to the spot? It's not like we're looking at it going, "Hey, it might get there anymore." It's like it's gonna get there. It will. It is. We're sure that if you're continuing to go out and do things, you will get it. That is a fact. There's no denying it. It's not like, oh, it's in China and it might come here. No,
I
it's
mean, look
here.
what Italy, man. Italy obviously is a my hearts go out to everybody in Italy that has suffered through this stuff. It's crazy that they, they're obviously like in Dominican Republic, right? Where if you go to Dominican Republic, everybody's close to each other, right? We're all pretty much just huggy lovey with each other.
Kisses, hubby, lovey. We don't know how to do anything else but that.
A parrandía con una cerveza aquí, una cerveza allí.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing that happens a lot, outside of the United States. Everybody's pretty much just kind of like Louisiana, right? Louisiana is a very culturally driven community.
And that's what's happening in Louisiana now.
Yeah, and obviously a lot of my clients were down there. So when I hear about Louisiana, it's just like one of the biggest epicenters, per capita. It breaks my fucking heart because, one way that you could do business in Louisiana is by literally breaking bread with people. And when you break bread, you're pretty much just in somebody's house eating their food. And they're a food-driven society, which is amazing. And it sucks that this is happening
right now. Yeah, that people have to go against that nature. That the herd mentality that we all have is right now going against it, and I think that's what people have to understand, that that's what we're doing too, because if you're not aware that we're going against our nature, that yeah, we want to go out, yeah, we want to see people, but we can't. We can't. Our goal right now is survival. Our goal is health. When you think, oh, you know what, I really want to go out and hang out with my friends, think, you know what, I really hope I can see my friends after all this. So don't go out. You know, make sure that 3 weeks from now you can go see your best friend and say hello to their parents. Because if we keep on going out with them right now, keep on going out, keep on seeing this, keep on touching that, it's gonna get to
So I think we should
you
have
know.
another conversation in 3 weeks to see how
Yeah,
your projection, because
I'm
I
down.
mean it's good to have a focus,
Yeah,
but man, it's I don't
it's
know.
like I said,
It's
is this industry? What I credit a lot of my patience, a lot of my uh, risk assessment from working in this industry. Before I graduated college, one of my mentors, one of the things that we were taught was CRCC, which
C.
is
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
RCC,
Okay.
which is constant reprioritization of controlled chaos.
Okay.
And that aspect is that when you're working in a restaurant, those who haven't worked in restaurants, that's literally what's always happened. You're reassessing and trying to get whatever's most important for everybody. Sometimes you can't get everything, but you got to get what's most important. If somebody wants ketchup, it's important. If somebody needs water, you might need to get that water first. That's just a little aspect. I'm talking big picture now, which is
Hmm.
we're constantly looking at what can happen. We're constantly what's going to go good, what's going to go bad, how much can I make, how much can I not make. In this case with the COVID, it's what's going to happen. Am I going to go outside
So
and go get
you
some?
just renamed it. I liked it, Covey.
Oh yeah, the COVID, the Rona, the COVID. But yeah, it's that like, dude, is me going to go see my friends at their house to hang out with
The risk.
getting 7 people sick, 8 people sick, 12 people sick, and that number becomes double, 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 and it's not.
Mm.
Okay,
You
stay
know,
at home board.
talking about that risk. Obviously, I don't know if you saw that, but there's a stupid challenge going on right now. Where
Which one?
on TikTok, somebody went on a middle of a flight. This girl went into the bathroom.
Okay. Oh, oh,
She shut
I
the
remember.
door. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, no, yeah. I don't know the girl, but please continue, please, please.
So okay, so this girl in the middle of the flight goes into the bathroom, shuts the door, kneels down. She has this Gucci Fendi glasses on, whatever. She turns on her iPhone or whatever it is, and she gets on the app TikTok. And then all of a sudden she starts recording herself licking the bowl,
Yeah, yeah. I heard.
licking
I
the
heard.
seat. So when you lick the seat, it's just like that's just creating this stupid challenge. To your point, right? Is it the risk? Is it worth the risk actually doing this shit?
I have I'm known for a bit of a dark sense of humor at times, and a big thing I usually say is things like this. It's Darwinism, survival of the fittest, right? That person doesn't
Yeah.
deserve a bed. That person doesn't deserve a bed. If I have 3 janitors dying because of coronavirus because they are working their asses off cleaning shit and making sure that the hospitals are good, they're getting the beds, and that guy, that girl, I'm sorry, because you did it to yourself. You purposely went out and infected yourself and harmed yourself, your loved ones, everybody around there for no reason
None.
at all.
I mean, according to her, she disinfected the seat before she went ahead and did it. But come on, man.
But
Come
it's
on.
not. The thing is, even if you did that, did you go ahead and show that you did that? To go on and make sure that the people that you're creating this trend, these young, mindless kids that are just doing things for attention, for fun, and you're putting people out in danger. They're going to do the same thing. Some of them are going to clean it. Some of them aren't. Some of them think that's just what it is.
And they can think it's cool, like kind of like this Tide Pod
Yeah,
thing, where it's just
yeah,
like, oh,
yeah, exactly. Boom. Those are another group of quotes such as Darwinism. Survival of the fittest. I'm not. We shouldn't be wasting our resources on people that are harming themselves
yeah.
for no reason, for stupidity. Like, come on.
So let's talk about stupidity a little bit. I like this. This is not even in my notes over here to talk about stupidity, but this is why I
It's,
picked you, because you have this raw and unfiltered way of thinking, and by the time it comes out of your mouth, it's like, hey,
it's
I've already
just,
thought about it.
hmm
It's up to you to consider whatever it is, right?
yeah, it's just exactly. It's whatever you want to, however you want to feel about it, you feel about it. But I have my way of feeling about it, and hey, I'm also open. This is
Hey,
the reason my thing is I'm open to hear why you feel a different way.
all right. So you're open to going to a cruise today?
Oh,
On a cruise?
that's another one. People gotta
That's what I'm
stop
saying.
with it.
It's, I mean, stupidity, right? I love cruises. I've been on cruises, but come on, like, obviously you heard about this, about these cruises that are now, Peru didn't want to get
Yeah,
in,
man, nobody
trying to
wants
get
to get
into
on.
Florida,
They're trying to get here. They're trying to in
to
Fort
Florida.
Lauderdale. The Fort Lauderdale. They're trying to get into. And
I mean, that again, that to me, if that's, uh, you know, as a business owner, you have to have the fiduciary duty to actually make a logical executive decision to
well,
do a service, or to sell a service or sell a product.
yeah, we're
Why
just
why are
April
you
1st.
allowing, yeah, why are you, exactly, why are you allowing people to come on board these ships?
This is not like it's been a week. This isn't
No,
something new. This is
this
where
is,
I
yeah.
get. This is where I lose my patience with people like that. This is like, hey, I 2 weeks before they shut down the restaurants, or a week before they shut down the restaurants, a friend of mine was going to go on a cruise, and because of everything, they gave them the option to not go, to go. My chef,
Oh,
he was another one, not go, to go. They didn't go. They didn't go. If we've already been given the option to not go since then, don't you think that 3 weeks later we should have already stopped them?
who's given the option? The cruises?
The cruises were giving them the option.
So obviously the cruises are pretty aware of what's going on.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not like you're not. It's not like you're not reacting. You've reacted. You've
uh,
done something, but then you just left it for them to choose. And let's not even start with the cruises, to be honest, because that whole industry is horrible. The way they
really?
treat their
Oh,
workers.
the employers, yeah.
Oh, forget about it. It's
I mean, the
horrible.
workers work so hard to make sure that you on the
And they
ship
get nothing.
are
And they
happy,
get
and
nothing. They get nothing.
they got
And
to
then
work extra
very
hard.
very few get treated properly. And then things like this, an outbreak like this, you know how much contact there is? We're talking about thousands of people on a boat.
Now think
It's
about
not,
that, right? If you have an employee that get on a cruise ship, that's, I don't know. Let's just, I don't want to name any cruise ship by
no,
name,
no, no.
just because I don't want
XY.
to,
Cruise
yeah.
ship
Let's,
XYZ.
the Luis and Joel ship,
Okay,
whatever,
boom. Our
whatever.
cruise ship, yeah.
Yeah, our cruise ship, right? Which definitely we're shutting down. We're not going to go
100%.
on. But
Yeah.
if one of these employees gets sick on in the middle of this cruise, what country is going to be able to take them in to take care of them? Because a lot of them
They're just
are
gonna,
international.
and a lot of them are not gonna accept them. Yeah, they're just gonna say no. A lot of travel was, that's it, denied. Everybody's not allowed to travel anywhere.
That's sad,
Besides,
man.
so when now all of a sudden you're not accepting people, do you want to accept them? Do you even know how many of them are actually sick? Do you even have 5,000, whatever thousand people test available? Because guess what? You can't let anybody get off the ship without getting tested now. No one
The
can get off the ship without being tested.
speaking of testing on ships, the other sad part is the you heard about the Guam, where the Navy ship, there's a ship in a naval ship right now that hundreds of sailors are pretty much positive on this ship docked near Guam, and the commander right now is asking for some relief, for some type of solution where these all these people could be quarantined,
Yeah,
because I think it's like 4,000 or 40,000 people or sailors and Marines as well that are on the ship. And if you know these cruise ship, you have space, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You have space
Certain.
to keep,
You could, in cruise ship, you can, yeah,
you have space.
you would be able to quarantine a section.
But on a naval ship, man, you could pretty much smell somebody brush their teeth or not,
Hmm. Hmm.
while you're walking. So it's
Oh, yeah,
just
I can
sad
imagine
that
that it's not
these,
like there's suites in those naval ships.
depending on who you are, probably the commander,
Yeah,
you probably got a
it's
suite there, right?
a suite. Yeah,
A suite. But yeah, it's
the,
definitely like a seaman or a seaman would not definitely have, they're
the
just gonna be crammed in.
no, it's gonna be quarantine is not really. You just the whole boat at that point.
Yeah. That's freaking sad, dude. So you're not doing that challenge, I assume.
No, 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 no. I haven't done any other challenges, to be honest. Not the push-up ones and none of those. Nothing.
Eh,
Not right now. I'm doing my yoga challenge daily. I do my yoga, focus on myself, I breathe. But good man. It's. I think this is something that's going to happen. A lot of people are going to leave the industry that were in it because they love it. A lot of people are going to try to find something else. Um, the restaurant industry is going to bounce back. It always does. But I mean, in 2008, 2009, it had its play on the industry. If you talk to anybody that was a server, a bartender before those years, the type of money that was being made was ridiculous. Uh, once that bubble happened and everything kind of went to shits, people kind of slowed down on the outside spending to go in because obviously the economy crashes.
Yeah.
Your money is not that available. So same thing happens, but now it's a bit different. It's 2008 was a bit of a man-made situation. This is more of a naturally made, man-enhanced type of situation.
Man in hands.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it's a sickness that we couldn't have really prepared ourselves for. We couldn't
Yeah.
really be like, hey, this is what's gonna happen. 2008 being a bubble that we created, humans made, something we can learn and move on from. This
Yeah.
is what the human part that we have to learn and move on from. This part is learning to deal with pandemics, learning to be prepared for pandemics, learning to understand that things can and will happen, and it's best to have some sort of plan in play.
Bro, before we get to that, Bold Penguin. Remember that penguin thing that I told you about? The first penguin. So the company is
Uh,
called Bold Penguin, and
Open.
they're based out of Columbus, and they're a commercial insurance quote. So basically,
Oh,
yeah. So it's Bold. So that first penguin that I was talking about,
the bold one.
that's
Yeah,
the
I like
Bold one.
it.
That's just like, hey, y Pablito salió Pablito.
It's
Nah,
like,
we're
Juan,
not going.
tírate. Juan, Juan, you go. Go check on Pablo.
Go check on Pablo. No, but having that bold leadership, like you're talking about, right? It's crucial. And I don't want to talk about politics, but if we have to go there, we have to go there. But think about the fact that way before all this shit happened, there was a possibility to be prepared for this, right? Because the old administration, they obviously had some type of tabletop conversations that they're like, hey,
And they
we
decided, let's fire him and not replace. Come
think
on.
about that, right?
Not even not like at that point. Come on, even me as a manager, just when I used to manage and stuff. If you're gonna close off a section, even if you don't hire new people, just do what you always do. Add more work to the people that are already doing stuff. Make them do more stuff. Come on, I'd rather have somebody overworked with something than something not being worked out at all.
Because CRCC, they it's a constant reprioritization of
Of
controlled
controlled
chaos,
chaos.
right? And in
Yes.
the restaurant business, I've never been I've been in the industry like this, man. I've been in the industry eating.
Yeah.
I love to eat, and
Well,
I know what quality service is, and I know what shitty service is,
yeah.
and I
Listen,
know when people care, and they're probably not doing a great service, but man, you cared about me. There's a difference there, right?
like a big one on that is think about it like this: you say you order some food at the restaurant, and the food's taking long. There's two options. They can tell you nothing. The food just takes long, and it gets to your table. Or when it should have been up, 12, 15 minutes in, they can come up to you and say, "Hey, I'm sorry about what's going on. Kitchen's a little backed up. Food will be out about 15 more minutes. I'm sorry." There, you're aware that they know your food is supposed to be there. You understand that something happened, and you can have a sort of empathy sympathy situation. Which, I mean, if you're a piece of shit human, you're not going to give a fuck, and you're still going to be mad. But if you're a traditional, heart having human, you're going to understand. You're going to be okay with it. You're going to get it, and if the food's good, you'll be all right. You can
Yeah.
forget it was. You're going to forget it all. You're going to just know that the person was nice to you and the food was good. But if you don't control that chaos, let's say food is just taking long, the kitchen's messing stuff up. You don't want to come up and tell them that either. You just control it, you figure it out, you talk to them, you tell them what you have to do, and you move on.
But let's think about this, right? Let's just fast forward. in your what you said, 3 weeks. Let's just say 3 weeks from
Okay.
now, or a month from now, or in my crazy way, 18 months from now.
Hmm.
And let's say you land on an opportunity that now you could create your own restaurant,
Yes.
right? You could do one of the two things. You could have this CRCC that you're talking about, and you could have this control chaos because you've already thought about it. Or you could just say, I'm just gonna fucking wing it.
Yeah. Just gonna open it.
I'm just gonna open it and not think about all these
No.
different priority, all these policies that I could work on with and
Anything
teach
that
my.
could come up, having a plan, man. It's just
And
a
what's
big part of
better?
having.
What's better, having that CRCC or not having that CRCC?
Yeah, it's coming when you go to something. If you have a plan, you can modify it. It could go. You just look at it as a small aspect. When you go to the supermarket, when you have a list versus when you don't have a list.
Okay, that's simple enough.
Simple as it gets. When you have a list, you walk in, you get things. Do you see certain things that you might not have had on the list and you grab?
You put it in there, right?
Boom,
Not,
you
not
get
a
it.
big deal.
But if you don't come in with the list, there's going to be things that could have been on the list that you're going to forget, or that you're
It's
going
like
to have to stop and go, oh, what else did I need? What else did I need to get? Or you end up just buying too much stuff because you went in without a list and you just walked through all the lanes and grabbed everything you needed. At the end of the day, it's not effective, it's not efficient. And when you're working in an industry as intense, as fast paced, and as volatile as dealing with humans and their food, you have to have a huge plan. And in general, in life, if we're looking at a big macro aspect, life is volatile.
I
And you need
think
to have a plan.
I think, correct me if I'm wrong. I think this is where your jujitsu would come into play here, because I used to wrestle myself and did some jujitsu as well. But there's always a counter to a counter,
Yes, yes,
right?
yeah. There's every time they teach you that new awesome technique, it's usually followed by the counter of that new awesome technique. Not just because so you know how to get out of it, but it's also so you understand what the flow of it is, what's the problem of it, why it happens. A big part of achieving brought that up. The way I see jujitsu, it's the way I like to explain stuff. It's not just knowing what to do; it's why you do. You know, I have a specific. It's like I'm bouncing around with everything I do,
Now
but
do it, do it,
I
do
have
it.
a very specific way of explaining that, and it's with searing meat. A lot of people tell you, sear meat, you know, sear meat. You know, heat up the oil, sear meat. You know, it's good, it's proper. You sear the meat, you put it away. But why do you sear the meat? Why do you do high temperature on the oil? And it's because you want to create steam, actually. So when you put that piece of meat or fish or whatever is on that oil, you're actually creating the steam. So it's not going to stick the meat on the pan. So you're able to sear it and then actually move it around and sear the other side. That's an idea that you can apply off the basis of it. You can now go,
Okay,
oh, anything I make, if I create the steam there, I sear it. Awesome.
okay.
So with jiu-jitsu and with the way they explain things, the reason why they teach you the counter is because you need to know what else can happen and how it affects the movements you're doing, so then you can apply it onto the next plan, the next thing. So you're learning in the kitchen, same thing. Something's going to happen different. You're going to learn it. You're going to reprioritize the chaos. You're going to know it next time. You move forward.
Yeah, because we obviously, when you put that steak on there, you could either have a pot that's cold, put it on,
Mhm.
turn on, and then put it on.
Yeah, it's gonna
It's not gonna have the
stick. It's
same
not gonna
result.
cook. Nah, it's not gonna cook the same. There's gonna be a lot of oils, a lot of juices to come out. There's a lot of things you're gonna lose just because you just didn't know how to sear the meat.
But you could always learn by through this by failure, right? Because if you do
Yeah,
that, you failed, but now you're listening to how to actually do this. You can apply that to real life right now and actually say, you know what, I could either be that one cold seared steak, or you could be that hot oil and just have that balance with that steam, right?
yeah, and
Um,
it's really about being prepared out here and knowing that there's always something that can happen to you. Something being confident but not being ignorant, because something can happen.
mm,
Is it Murphy's law? Anything
yeah,
that can happen will happen.
will have, yeah, yeah, yeah. So you're all about Darwinism and also Murphy's laws as well.
Yeah, come on. So a lot of things out there is not a philosophy that really has helped me.
How about your business, man? How has that this stuff right now
So
impacted your business?
my business, it's a small business. I have a set of Pioneer and Nexus CDJs 2002, the twos, which are the newest ones, and a mixer with it. DJM 900. I rent them out to clubs and restaurants. Uh, Specifically, I work with one club called Hangar, which I rented out whatever parties they have in the month. Once, twice, second, two, three, four, five, whatever it is. Sometimes we work at restaurants too and personal parties. But right now, nothing, because obviously all the parties, all the events are shut down. And what was supposed to be the peak season for me, also in music and my small business, and besides the restaurant, it's become my shutdown season. I'm just waiting here, sitting, focusing. I also work with a friend of mine that he produces events through my company. I invest. We're in a ring of rock band called Caramelo de Cianuro, April 4th. That's not happening, obviously. But yeah, I mean, again, got nothing but time to focus on what the next step is. But for now, it's on pause.
So your business was basically renting out equipment
Yes.
to clubs
True. Yes.
or bands, I guess.
Yeah.
So what got you into that then?
So it was just an opportunity. My best friend, and at the time was my neighbor, is a DJ, producer, sound engineer.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to do something with some money that I had, and I decided, why not get this CDJ setup that we can probably move around with the connections that he had around here. It's something that he loves. I'm very much into helping others develop their ideas. And with that aspect, I've been able to get into the music industry with him and learn a lot of pieces and not moving pieces, obviously, in the industry.
So what is CDJ? You said CDJ setup. What is
CDJ, that? It's what DJs use for the mixing.
This is like a brand.
Pioneer. The Pioneer is the brand. The name of the item itself is a CDJ.
Got it.
Nexus 2000. Pioneer CDJ 2000.
I've never heard of it, man. I just go to places, music, and I enjoy myself.
You ever see the DJs on the things on the digital? Yeah. But not exactly the digital ones. That's exactly what I'm renting out.
Okay, I'm putting some context into it. The digital ones is what you were renting out to the Hangar Club.
Yeah. So like they have their own, but a lot of DJs use double setups, and a lot of times the in-house ones that they have are messed up, overused, not taken care of. We make sure our things are always clean, proper, functioning. Whenever they have big DJs coming in for events, they make sure that they have the fresh ones, as opposed to whenever they have small events, they use whatever they have in-house.
And that's why I'm asking all these, because it seems like you were like the enterprise or the Hertz of this equipment for these clubs, because obviously I'm thinking about this because I was in the auto business, right? Where you have a dealership, and dealerships obviously have inventory of cars, brand new, used, repossessed, and we go down the line. But let's just stick to brand new or used. So they have those, but they still had contracts with either Enterprise or Hertz or whatever else, Avis. So you would ask yourself, why in the world would a rental car business be inside of a dealership? Because after a while, you have an influx of customers. And number one, you're selling a brand new car to one of your brand new customers, right? Your leads, or you're selling the pre-owned to somebody else as well. Now, when that vehicle that's leased is leased to whoever, and they come back to fix their car, they need that person that's getting that car fixed. They need another car too. They don't want to give out a brand new car, or they don't want to give out a used car. Shit, they don't want to give out any car in their inventory. Right. So then here comes Hertz or an Enterprise or a rental car business. That in that rental car business, come on, if you're renting a car, are you going to treat that car the same way you're treating a brand new? No, right? So they let that asset just be damaged by those rental car businesses. Not saying that that's kind of what you were doing, but I'm just thinking, all right, if I'm Hangar Club or a club, can I buy myself that equipment? And if you're having DJs come in, always, whatever they're doing. I had in my mind
spinning discs.
spinning discs. In my mind, I had finger fucking it, but yeah,
Whatever it is.
whatever it is.
Playing songs is what they're shooting, right?
Playing songs. You came in and said, "Hey, we have this machine that's sanitized, it's clean."
The new age, the fresh, top of the line. It's what your big DJs are going to want when they come in, and you don't have to buy it. You can just keep whatever fucked up system you have set up.
Yep.
Use it for your daily, your Tuesday, your Thursday, Sunday parties, and for your Friday, Saturday parties that you're bringing in the big guys. Call us up. We'll drop off whatever you need.
How was competition though for you?
For me personally,
or
with that location,
in that industry, I guess.
It's huge competition. Because most events are based off rentals. Very few locations actually own anything but one setup. So they'll have, most clubs out here will have their base setup, and then they'll have their speakers and everything. But whenever they have big events, they'll bring in somebody that usually takes care of extra sound that has to be brought in, any bars, anything that has to serve for lighting. It's usually just one company that handles it all. We were a lot smaller. What we did is we used our connections to be last minute, you need us, we got you covered type of situation. We then kind of moved it into, at first we were charging, let's say, about $350 per rental per time they needed it, $350 to $400 for the setup. Because it was just that random. And then we created the relationship in which he was coming in about weekly, 2 times a week. So we brought it down to about $150 to $200 per time we needed. So we were just making sure we were bringing in about $1,000 to $1,500 from him solely. And then my costs of operating was about $300 to $400.
Okay, so you charge per the hour, $250 an hour per se.
Night.
The night. Oh, it's not even an hour. It's just
I just drop it off. All I do is drop off the equipment and leave.
Okay.
And then I pick it up the next day. Okay. And if he needs it the next day, I just leave it there too, and then just keep on building.
Okay. So do you think there's going to be a rebound? I mean, that's a stupid question because I'm assuming that people are going to want to party.
The good thing is, though, that connection I have is because of a personal connection. I know the owner, and he's been hosting events for a long time there, and it's not going to change. I'm sure he's going to come back. So yeah, and then, I mean, I was about to, before this all happened, I was starting to create relationships with restaurants that they're a bit more often. So, like, for example, we're talking to one that was going to want to rent it out once a week for about $250 a week. Mm-hmm. So once a week for $250. So we're about to make another $1,000 off that. Again, cost being so low, being so easy to set up, my labor cost is nothing. If I can get the business going up again, it's not hard. I don't really even have to worry about storage. It's 3 boxes, about yay high.
So you can keep it in your apartment.
Literally, I keep it in the apartment.
So low overhead.
Low overhead, complete. There's no overhead. I'm the only employee, so I handle it all. I take care of it all. I can put it on pause until I'm needed again.
There you go. I mean, that sounds like a good plan. How about that band? You said
the Caramelo, yeah.
The Caramelo, yeah.
There's more. I am more like a representative to my mentor here in Miami. So whenever he has events that he feels like he might need some people to help out here, he allows me to join onto the team. And last time we brought in Dos Pericos from Argentina. Not only was I an investor in it, but we got to experience a lot of stuff from picking them up from the airport. We do little stuff on the floor, We spread flyers, we pick up flyers, we spread flyers, you make sure the billboards are looking right, you make sure hotel rooms are booked and ready for them before they arrive. Little stuff that becomes a lot in the days building up to it, but that's kind of what we've been doing. For Caramelo, we just had it booked. We didn't have to start working on it at all. And obviously it was canceled because of all of this. But yeah, we also had an event.
Here's another awkward question, because I've seen a lot of different bands right now producing live events. Yeah. Can your equipment be used for that? But then again, now I'm bringing up some sanitation issues, because You're probably spreading shit all around.
My equipment's actually currently being used for that.
Oh,
By my best friend, which is the DJ. He's
okay.
been just doing lives and stuff, just content creation for our personal stuff. But yeah, I mean, it would be kind of complicated to actually start renting them out to people because then it comes to sanitation and all that. Not that we couldn't handle that. We could. It's not that complicated because of how everything is set up. We do sanitize it either way, so it literally just be continue to sanitize and just wear gloves and everything and hand off,
Yeah.
and then make sure that whenever they're done to do the same. But most people that are doing these type of lives right now have their own equipment, working from home.
I should have been on. We should have been on live in this conversation. See what other people would have been chiming in. That would have been freaking cool.
Well, we could start. Maybe we start up a different aspect of the podcast and just start doing lives for now.
See, it's all about innovation. I think this is a time to kind of like what you said before with the when I said hit the reset button.
I'm still listening.
Now when we hit the reset button and we're either doing the mental strength rehab, but like you said, it's a time to innovate. Definitely to innovate, and maybe next time I could do a live chat because if we include other people, you gave me a pretty good idea. You definitely gave me a pretty good idea with that, man.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, the whole point of the conversation is to kind of get that the truth of what's going on with people, and not just because, like, as you said, we were all alone right now, and it's hard. But if we get to talk to people, get to see what people are going through, the herd mentality kicks in again, and we understand that we're all going through it together. Even though we're alone in our rooms, we're doing this together.
Yeah. And honestly, even if I was to try to do a live event on Instagram, or I don't even know how to do that, man. So I'm gonna have to do my research on that.
Start slowly. I mean,
yeah.
Even if it's just a 30-minute thing at some point.
No, man. So
yeah.
I think thanks for being on here. I think just speaking about your personal experience where before the car accident and during the car accident kind of got you mentally prepared here, and I think that's one of the biggest things that I wanted to do here was pretty much bring real people with real conversations, unfiltered, raw. And maybe people could just learn from other people's experiences because, like you said, right now people need. I feel people need this. I know for sure. Me as a small business owner that's gone through this situation, I'm vulnerable myself, man. I think this is an output, a way to just communicate with other people. That people could just sit down. Number one, you can listen to this podcast on Apple Podcasts. We're right now streaming live on Apple Podcasts, where you could also find us on SoundCloud. This title of the conversation with Luis, or you could sit down and view us on YouTube as well. So, Joel Nuñez, thanks for being here, man.
Thank you for having me.
I'll put you down in 3 weeks because I think that's
what we do. That's gonna be a nice conversation to have.
Yeah, just to kind of just juxtapose, juxtapose and reassess and do some RCC.
Let's do it. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, Joe. Thank you so much, my man, and I appreciate you joining on. Signing out.
Take care.